Morning guys, welcome to the video today. In this video what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking through all of the lure equipment I'm going to be using for my 2021 lure fishing season. So we're going to go through the rods, we're going to go through the lures, all the other ancillaries that I use, because I get asked quite a lot really about what kind of lures I'm using, what rod and reel I'm using. So I thought it'd be easier just to make one video and then everyone can see. And we can have a discussion in the comments about it. If you agree with certain parts, let me know. If you don't agree with certain parts, let me know. And then hopefully we'll be able to educate some people who are looking to try lure fishing. So that's the plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off at the basics end of what I'm wearing, and then we'll go from there really. So if it's cold, obviously I'll wear a beanie. If it's warmer, you'll see me in my notable hat, my baseball cap. Underneath that I've got thermals on, a t-shirt and a hoodie. And then I'm wearing one of these, which I advise everyone to get one of these, to be fair. Picked it up, it was about, getting for around about 50 to 70 quid. You want to get one that's self-inflating, because worst being worst, if you fall into the water, it will inflate and it will prop your neck up out of the water, hopefully. Some of them are really clever, some of them can actually turn, I think most of them actually now, turn you around in the water. So your face is out of the water and your neck's up out of the way. So yeah, definitely a good bit of kit to get. I would heavily advise it, especially if you're fishing more rockier marks than to what we are here down in Eastbourne and around the surrounding area. If you're fishing marks of Cornwall where there's big boulders and it's easier for you guys to fall in, definitely consider getting yourself a safety device. 100%. Next thing, I'm wearing waders today. It's not really recommended to wear waders on the reef. Obviously because of the fact that they fill up with water if you fall in, and yes, it's probably not a good idea, to be fair, but quite a lot of the lads I know do wear them, especially around the local area. Like I said, it's not massively rocky, and the chances of you falling in are very slim. So yeah, so wear waders. We're now in the peak season. I will ditch the waders and wear some studded boots, just for flexibility, and wear some shorts. But at the moment it's still a bit cold. So waders with the studs attached to the bottom, Snowbee studs, screw-in Snowbee studs, just attached to the bottom of the waders for extra grip. That's what we got on today. Right, so let's move on to the rod itself. I've got a new rod this year. It's a Berkeley Lightning Shock, which is here. The rod is, what we got, 2.4 meters. So it's an 8-foot rod, two-piece 8-foot rod. It's rated from 10 to 35 grams, so it's slightly lighter than what I usually use. What I have been using in the past. The rod I was using previously was 10 to 50 grams, so it's a slightly lighter rod, so I need to take that into consideration when I'm choosing lures to throw. I paired that with a Pen Pursuit 3, which is absolutely fantastic. This reel is absolutely awesome. The smoothness of this reel is great. I like the drag, it's really nice. When you're playing a fish, it's nice and smooth. So yeah, I would suggest getting one of these, because I've used it for the whole of the last season. It's not let me down. It's still going strong now. Obviously if you look after it and you wash it after every session and take care of it, then it'll do you good. So yeah, that's the reel I'm using. On the reel, I've paired the reel itself with the line. The line I'm using is the same as I use on my beach casting rods. It's probably a bit overkill, but hey, that's what I'm used to, that's what I use. So we're using Berkeley Fireline in a high visibility yellow, and that's a 24 pound. It's a braid. The reason for using braid with lure fishing over traditional mono is the fact that braid won't stretch. So if you're using things like top water lures, you can play the slack in the line without giving a stretch. Most lure anglers will opt for a braid as their chosen choice of line. So that's the rod and the reel and what I'm wearing. What we're going to do now is just going to move on to some of the other little ancillaries that I use, and then we'll talk about some lures, and then we'll cover whereabouts we're fishing and the ground and so on and so forth as well. Right, so the other little bits that I take with me are as follows. The leader line, which I use on my reel, is a fluorocarbon, which is here. It's a triline fluorocarbon line. It's all in American figures, so you have to convert it for yourself. It's a 0.38 diameter, and it's 11.3 kilograms, which is there. Personally, myself, I don't like having a long leader that wraps around the reel itself. I prefer to have my leader drop from the tip of the fishing rod with the knot out of the top eye, and then I prefer to cast it. So the only thing I'm casting is braid, and the knot's not flying up and down my line. That's the personal style that I use. Some other people use a slightly longer length, which is usually about 4 or 5 foot. It's all down to personal preference and what you feel is recommended for yourself, but that's what I do. I always carry one of these with me. It's just a waterproof pouch to put my phone in, just in case we run into any difficulties. Again, this is personal preference as well. I like to measure my fish, so I've got a roll-out measure there. This was picked up from my local tackle shop, which is here. Other bits and bobs I carry with me are braid scissors. These are absolutely fantastic braid scissors. You can pick these up again in your local tackle shop. They're not too expensive. They do all the split rings at the top if you need to change the trebles, and also they cut the braid as well, which is really handy to have. Also carry a spare pair of braid scissors, just in case I lose my other pair of braid scissors while I'm out here, because it's quite a fair walk that we come on today to get to the mark that we're at now. A pair of surgical forceps come in handy to take the trebles or the hooks out of the fish's mouth without you getting your fingers too close to them. The last thing you want to be doing is hooking yourself. And this year as well, I have bought myself some gloves, lure fishing gloves. They weren't too expensive. Again, they're fingerless as well on some of the fingers, so I mean if you're tying knots, they're absolutely fantastic. So yeah, they just fit on like that, and then your fingers are here free to tie the knots. So that's all the bits and pieces that I take with me. Also, the clips I use for attaching my lures are here. They're called spin link clips, breakaway spin link clips. Basically what you do is you tie them on your leader, and then you just interchange on and off the different lures. So again, a really handy bit of kit. It saves you the hassle of tying the lure on by hand and then having to cut it and retie it back on. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go through some of the lures that I use, show you the different types of lures that we use, and show you how they work and what we use them for, to be honest with you. Right, so the first lure in my tackle box is this one here, which is called a patchenko. It's really popular lure. It's a surface lure. So the idea of surface lures are that you'd cast them out, they hit the top of the water. Once they hit the top of the water, they make a nice rattle with a built-in rattle that's inside them, and that is to attract the fish. Once the lure is sat on the top of the water, it will stay on the top of the water, so it won't go under the water. It'll stay on the top of the water, and all you do is you reel in, and there's a thing that you can do called walk the dog. Have a look on YouTube, various videos of how to walk the dog on there. And what you do is you play the slack in the line and you flick the tip of the rod, and that will give you a zigzagging motion, and the lure will dance across the top of the surface. So yeah, so the first type of lure we use is a surface lure. The best time to use these is when it's like flat calm, when it's absolutely still, and you want to make a disturbance in the water to gear up the fish and to get them to home in on the lure itself, when there's not much other disturbance in the water or any surrounding noise. So yeah, this is a killer lure, absolutely fantastic. It's pretty pricey. It's around about £20, but again, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I've got them in two sizes. I've got a smaller one there, which is smaller, and then a bigger one there. The next surface lure from the same company I'm going to use this year. I haven't used it previously before. Is this one here. This is another well-known lure. Is the asturie, again by Azores, which is there. This is an asturie 110. Again, it's exactly the same kind of motion. You would cast it out, and then you would let it sit on the water for a bit. It's got a rattle in it, like most surface lures have, and then you just pop that through the water. I've got that in two different colours, which are there. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to using them. The last surface lure that's in my box that I'm going to be using this year is again the highly reclaimed Axial H2O Glide. This one's a pearl colour. Again, exactly the same kind of motion, just a different shaped body. I've got that in two different colours, and the other one's there. So that's all the surface lures I'm going to be using this year, or that's the ones that are in my box currently. I do have another box as well. But yeah, we'll interchange and change them out as needed. This is the box that I've geared up ready for this year's season. The next lure I'm going to talk to you about is a subsurface lure. So what these lures do is that you cast them out, they sit on the top of the surface, and then when you reel in, they dive down to a certain depth. The ones I've got are usually around about a metre and a half. When you constantly reel in, they'll constantly be diving, and when you stop reeling, they'll pop back up to the top. So it's really, really good for searching out fish. This one here is the Garcia Tormentor in size 110 millimeters. It's a double jointed lure, so the back of the lure wiggles like that, and in the water it's a fantastic action. I've caught bass on this lure. It is absolutely brilliant for searching out fish. I've got 2 of these in my box because knowing me, I'll probably lose one, and it's just a pain in the backside when you're catching fish on a lure that's working on the day, and then you lose it. Another new lure for me this year I'm going to be trying is this one, which has been recommended. This lure is actually one from Kingdom, so I think you pick up on AliExpress, and again, it caught a lot of fish for one of my mates last year, so I'm going to give it a go this year. Like the surface lures, the subsurface lures have got rattles in them, and again, you know, it's just a different shape of surface lure. What I'll probably do is I'll probably move that treble to the back, but I'm going to experiment having one on the front and one on the back, just to see, you know, where the fish are hitting if we hook up. I've got them in various different colours. The ones I've chosen with me today are these ones here. Nice side flashing plate on that one. Again. Moving on then, I've got these in my box as well. 19-gram Savage Gear Sandhill pencils. These are proving to be very popular. They're basically a 3D cast of an actual Sandhill replica. They look absolutely fantastic. It comes with a choice of treble on the back or single hook. Again, you know, that's up to personal preference whether you decide to change that to a single hook. Treble hooks, usually you get a better catch ratio from a treble hook, obviously because of more points. Bad things are that, you know, you have the tendency to snag more often. Single hook pros and cons are that, you know, they're a single hook, so you haven't got the additional barbs on it or additional hooks on it. So, you know, if a fish is going to hit it, you know, you're probably going to have more chance of catching a fish on the treble. But for catch and release purposes, that a lot of anglers are changing over to now, singles are going to be probably the way forward, to be fair. Yeah, so that's a Savage Gear Sandhill pencil. Again, you can gain absolutely fantastic distance with these. Just cast them out, and then they give like a little wobble in the water, and you can just pull the rod tip through, and it'll just dart through the water. Yeah, so that's another good lure. Got that in 2 different colours. The other one's there. Right, moving on to other types of lures that I use. Just going to flip the box over now. The highly acclaimed Pirate Lures teaser. This lure is absolutely fantastic. It's an absolutely awesome lure. I would definitely recommend putting these in your box. They've just been, last year they were absolutely awesome lures. Most of my fish last year were caught on these Pirate Lures teasers. This is the smaller version. This one is in a yellow and white, or charouse, or however you call it. I'm not really good on the pronunciation. This lure is rigged weedless, so the hook sits actually in the body of the lure. When the bass bites down onto the lure, the hook will protrude and you know, be located inside the fish's mouth. I've got these in weighted and weightless, so the difference is that there's a weight on the hook there, or you can get them without the weights on. Again, that's personal preference. I've got these in a multitude of different colours. We've got black ones there, and pink ones there. That caught me a nice fish last year. I had a 60 centimetre, I think it was 60 centimetre bass on this fish, this lure last year. So again, they're absolutely awesome. To rig the lures is actually really simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do that now. Right guys, so what I'm going to do is going to show you how to rig the Pirate Lures teaser, or any kind of soft plastic lure really. These are the hooks that we use. They're called twist lock hooks. Basically all you do is you take the tip and just screw that into the front of the lure in the centre. Oh, if I can get it in the centre, which is there. Screw that into the nose of the lure, and then all you do is you mark up, put your finger where you think the hook's going to come out the lure, which is going to be around about the T and the E. Bend the lure, and then just slowly push that through like so, and then that is pretty much it, guys. then the lure will sit on there. Usually what I do when I'm using these lures, I just pinch the lure and put the hook inside the lure, and that is pretty much all ready to go. And that's how you rig soft plastics. They all work in the same kind of way. Screw the hook into the nose, then find where the hook's going to go through with your thumb, and then push the hook through, and it just sits down there like that. Another type of lure I'm going to use this year from Pirate Lures that I'm really keen to try more this year is the Seducer itself, which is here. It's like a bass stick. Nice wiggle on the action on the tail. Again, we're going to try that this year and give it a good go. New to the box this year are these lures from Rooney's Fishing Supplies, bulb tails. They're absolutely striking colours. This one's obviously a high visibility green. Again, it's a soft plastic lure. This one's rigged weedless and weighted. So basically, I'm just going to cast it out, and then we'll reel that in. Different types of reeling in. You know, you can try faster reels or slower retrieves, and we'll give that a go and see how we get on with that. I've got that in a couple of different colours, green and pink. Seem to be the more popular colours from that company that a lot of people are purchasing. Another new addition to the box this year that's been spoken about quite a lot is these lures here, which are, I can never remember what they're called now, Savage Gear pulse tails. And the reason I've chosen these is just for the design of that tail on the end there. It's different to quite a lot of other paddle tails that I've seen previously, and I'm keen to try it. You know, just to see, you know, what kind of effect it will have on the fish, if any. I know quite a lot of anglers that have caught on these, and they're proven fish catchers, so it would be good to see if I can catch a fish on them myself. So yeah, I'm going to be using them. Good old faithful sidewinder paddle tail wheels as well. I've had quite a lot of bass on this over the, when I first started it, when I didn't really know what I was doing. This one was the one that caught me quite a lot of fish. White with a red dot. Got them in two different sizes. I think one's like 20 gram and one's a 12 gram. And then lastly, the last type of lure I use is metals. Good old faithful Savage Gear Seekers. These ones are rigged with single hooks. Got them in a variety of different colours. They are absolutely awesome casting wise. You can cast them absolutely miles, and then when you reel them in, they make like a flutter in the water. If you check out Wayne Morgan's channel, Angling Addict 75, you'll see him catch a lot of bass on them. I haven't yet caught a bass on them myself, so I'm still keen to try them and use them out. And then lastly, the good old faithful Dexter Wedge. These lures, proven fish catchers. If anything else ain't happening or going right on the day, this will probably be the go-to lure as a last-ditch attempt to try and bag a fish. So that's all the lures then that I'm going to be experimenting and trying out in the first part of the season this year. They all fit into a double-sided lure box, which is here, which is absolutely fantastic. You just flip it over and choose the lure you want, and then that is it. That's how you do it. I'm carrying everything around today in one of these, which is a dry bag. Usually what I have is an over the shoulder waist bag, which is a lot more easier, but because I'm carrying quite a lot of camera equipment today, the dry bag it is. Attached to the dry bag I've got a little first aid kit, which is there. It's just got, basic first aid, really basic first aid, like plasters and bits and pieces, and other little bits and pieces really. I've added in there bandages, just as an extra, because if you're bleeding and you need to stem a bleed, then they're a given to be taken, and also some first aid tape, which is really handy to have. That is pretty much it for gear, guys. A lot of people have asked me as well, what type of lures do I use in what type of conditions. For me at the moment, it's basically trial and error. I know that the top water kind of lures work best when there's really flat calm on the sea, or towards the the summer. They come into the interior element when the bass are more higher in the water level, chasing the mackerel around the top of the water. So yeah, shallow divers are pretty much a given. I use these. They're pretty much a go-to lure, really, shallow diving lures. And then other lures and bits and pieces I trial through the session. Usually what you'll find is that the fish will if they're about, they'll hit a certain lure, and then what I suggest to do is, once you find the lure that they're feeding on, or the mimic of the fish that they're chasing, or so on and so forth, or the bait that they're targeting, stick with that lure. You'll probably get a second or third hit on it. Like I said, this is just my own personal opinion. I'm definitely nowhere near an expert in this lure fishing business, but you know, people have asked me, and this is my own 2 pence really. So I mean, hopefully it will help other anglers and inspire other anglers to give it a go and to try this absolutely fantastic way of fishing. It's probably my preferred way of fishing now. I just absolutely love it, just because of the fact that it's really lightweight. You can just grab, you know, everything could be in a backpack. You just grab your backpack and your rod, and your appropriate footwear and a life jacket, and then you're out and you're really enjoying it. Most productive times of the day to go lure fishing, predominantly early morning, just before the first light, just before sunrise, and a lot of other bass anglers prefer it. If they can't get to a morning session right early in the morning, they'll go just when the light levels are dropping and when the bass are coming a bit closer to the shore, to pick off the fish. What I'm going to do is going to have a walk round and show you the type of grounds that we're going to be fishing over, just to give you an idea of that, and then we'll tackle up, and I think that'll be it really, guys. Yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'm just going to have a quick walk around now just to show you the kind of ground that we're going to be fishing over. Right guys, so this is the kind of area you want to be fishing over. What looks like it will hold little small prawns, crabs and other fish that bass will target. This is the kind of ground you want to come to, and this is the kind of ground you want to be fishing over really. So hopefully that answers a couple of questions that people have been asking me. Where do you come to fish? Choose reefs and places where you think, you know, or where it's more likely that the bass will come to feed. Right guys, I'm just going to tackle up now, just show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm just fixing my fishing rod, the top bit into the bottom bit. We'll then take the line out of the reel, up through the eyes, just paying attention, making sure you go through all the eyes. Worst thing to do is rush tackling up, and then you forgetting that you've missed an eye. Right, so that's how long my leader line is. It's no longer than, I think it's around about 2 foot, not even that. Just checking my knot, just to make sure that is all good. And once the knot's all good, we're going to take our clip, on the clip there's a little tag. You want it that way around, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a grinner knot really. So I'm going to fold the line over itself, and then go round 6 times the loop that I've just made. Moisten the line. And then just pull that knot down, and then we'll cut off the tag in. Always make sure you take the excess line home with you. You don't want to be leaving it around on the reef. And all we're going to do now is we're just going to clip on our lure. We'll just take our lure, it's just a random lure I picked out of the box. And you just clip it on, and that is you ready to go. When you want to change your lure, all you do is clip off the lure from the clip. Simple, and then on goes your next lure. Right guys, that's me pretty much set up. The last bits of advice I'll give you is to always tell someone where you're going and what type of time you're going to be back. Take a mobile phone with full charge, just in case you do need to make an emergency call. Try and invest, if possible, and get yourself a life jacket just for your personal safety. Go with someone. If you're not experienced and you don't know the area that you're fishing over well, definitely go with someone and get some adequate footwear. That'll be my main tips that I'll give to you, I'll share to you on this video. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope giving you an insight of the kind of things that I'm using, and the kind of terrain that I'm fishing over. Hopefully this season will be a good season, and hopefully I'll meet some of you guys who are local out on the reef itself. So cheers for watching guys, thank you very much, and I hope you found this video useful like I said, and I'll see you out on the reef when we get into the first session. Cheers guys.